I'm a single parent, raising my 6-year-old daughter named Lily. At the time this incident occurred, she was just 3 and I was 30. We lived in a house passed down to me by my grandparents, nestled in a tranquil neighborhood in Sugar Land, Texas, surrounded by friendly neighbors. Lily and I still call this place home today. It was the holiday season, and Lily and I were out shopping for Christmas gifts for our family. Our expedition took us to the Galleria, where we explored various stores, including the Apple Store. As we approached one store, we encountered a jovial Santa Claus, who greeted us with the usual festive phrases. Santa knelt down to Lily's eye level and asked her what she wanted for Christmas. Lily, excited and unaware of my plans, said she wanted a bubble puppy from Bubble Guppies, which was coincidentally what I intended to surprise her with for Christmas. Santa chuckled and said, "If you're good, maybe you'll find one under the tree." He then complimented me, remarking, "Your mom's quite a looker, Lily. I see where you get your beauty from," which made Lily giggle, despite not understanding the remark. I smiled politely, and we engaged in friendly adult conversation for a few minutes, discussing holiday songs and traditions. Then came an unexpected turn. Santa leaned in as if he wanted a peck on the cheek, but he swiftly attempted an unwelcome kiss on the lips. I pulled away in alarm, unsettled by his creepy and aggressive approach. Our pleasant encounter took a sour note. Just as we were recovering from this unsettling encounter, our peaceful day was interrupted by the doorbell. It was an odd hour, and I wasn't expecting any visitors, certainly not a door-to-door salesperson. I instructed Lily to stay put and watch TV while I cautiously approached the door. Through the door, I inquired who was there, and a man's voice claimed to be Santa. My heart sank as I warned, "If you're Santa, please leave, or I'll call the police." He responded, "You dropped something from your bag, miss. I'm just trying to return it." Skeptical, I asked, "What did I drop?" He evaded the question, insisting that I open the door so he could return it. Uneasy about this situation, I decided to call my sister to talk about the strange encounter. My sister was creeped out and told me I needed to just go and be with Lily and to forget the creepy guy. I got up and went into the kitchen to pour myself a glass of wine. While standing over the sink, I got a really strange feeling. I turned off the kitchen light and lifted the blinds to peer outside. The darkness concealed everything, but I distinctly heard a man yelling, "Ho, ho, ho."
Ho, ho, ho.
It was crazy. He was outside my house, somewhere in the darkness, watching my home. I ran back into the living room, grabbed my phone, and called the police to report being followed by a man dressed as Santa, and he was outside. I had left Lily in the living room watching Paw Patrol while I made the call. By the time I returned, Lily had fallen asleep on the couch, so I turned off the TV, picked Lily up, and headed upstairs to my room with Lily. Later that night, the police came and knocked on my door. They told me that the area was clear and they hadn't seen a Santa. I thanked them and went back to bed. It wasn't until the next day, as I was leaving the house, that I discovered a note taped to my front door. It was a typed and printed message, bluntly stating that the sender assumed I knew who they were. Though I wanted to crumple it up and forget it, I decided to take a photo and contacted the police once more, providing them with the note as it included the sender's contact information. The police assured me that they would take appropriate action. The following Monday, I received a call from a detective who assured me that the man would not be contacting me again and urged me to notify them if he did. Thankfully, I never heard from that creepy Santa again. I presumed that the police had gotten in contact with him and warned him off. A few days later in the news, I learned that a Santa impersonator had been arrested for kidnapping. It sent a shiver down my spine, and I hugged Lily tightly, grateful that we had managed to avoid a potentially dangerous situation.
Ten-year-old Maya, a whirlwind of braids and boundless curiosity, lay restless in her bed. Every creak of the old house on Christmas Eve amplified in the quiet, her anticipation a fizzy current running through her veins. Sleep was a distant star, lost amongst the twinkling excitement. She finally gave up the pretense, slipping out of bed and padding down the hallway. The living room, bathed in the soft glow of the tree lights, held a familiar magic. Presents, meticulously wrapped in silver and gold, nestled beneath the boughs, whispering promises of surprises. Suddenly, a muffled thump from downstairs shattered the silence. Heart leaping into her throat, Maya froze, fear replacing anticipation. The thumping was followed by a rustle, the unmistakable sound of movement near the Christmas tree. Her 10-year-old instincts, honed by countless detective novels, kicked in. No creaky footsteps, no familiar voices. This was no jolly Saint Nick. Her first thought was to wake her parents, but her sense of immortality, surprisingly sharp for a 10-year-old, held her back. Alerting them might startle the intruder, putting them in danger. She had to act, and act fast. Slipping on her fuzzy slippers, 10-year-old Maya tiptoed down the creaky stairs, heart thudding against her ribs like a trapped bird. Peeking into the living room, her breath caught in her throat. A shadowy figure hunched over the tree, stuffing presents into a bulging sack. This wasn't Santa. This was something else, something wrong. But amidst the fear, a glimmer of comfort met her eyes. Nestled high on a branch, her elf on the shelf, Red, so named because of his red cap, watched the scene with wide, unwavering eyes. Not the usual playful twinkle, but something deeper, something protective. His smile, usually mischievous, had morphed into a firm line, and his tiny red hat cast a stark shadow across his brow. "Get out of here!" Maya's voice, though shaky, held surprising command. The intruder froze, his head snapping up, his eyes focused on, and a slow smile spread on his face. Maya, filled with righteous anger, pointed at her elf and said, "Red is watching!" A low growl erupted from the darkness, sending shivers down Maya's spine. Red's shadow stretched across the room, twisting and growing until it loomed over the thief, a monstrous predator against a miniature prey. The intruder scrambled back, whimpering like a child lost in a haunted forest. The sack slipped from his grasp, spewing gifts across the floor like festive confetti. The thief lunged for the door, but the shadows seemed to twist and warp around him, mocking his escape. His cries were swallowed by the darkness as Red's shadow engulfed him, its chilling embrace promising a fate unknown. Silence descended, broken only by the crackling fire in the hearth. Maya stood alone, knees wobbling, adrenaline still coursing through her veins. But as the shock subsided, a wave of relief washed over her. Red had protected her, her family, their Christmas. Gingerly, she gathered the scattered presents, a newfound respect burning in her eyes as she replaced Red on his branch. He winked, a mischievous glint returning to his eyes, as if assuring her the nightmare was over. The next morning, Christmas dawned bright and joyful. Laughter filled the air as presents were unwrapped and carols filled the home. The living room showed no trace of the intruder's terror, only the lingering scent of pine and cinnamon. For Maya, however, the experience had painted Christmas with a new hue, a touch of darkness balanced by the unwavering light of Red's watchful eyes. And so, even though whispers of the Christmas Eve intruder lingered in the shadows, Maya and her family embraced the season's joy. Red, perched high on his shelf, became more than just a festive decoration. He was a silent guardian, a reminder that even in the heart of darkness, the magic of Christmas shines brightest, protected by the watchful eyes of a tiny elf with a mischievous grin. The story would forever be a secret shared between them, a whispered tale of courage, darkness, and the unwavering spirit of Christmas, forever protected by a miniature knight in red.
As we come to the end of these chilling Christmas tales, they offer a different perspective on the holiday season, one where joy and cheer are juxtaposed against unforeseen dangers lurking within the festive facade. The creepy Santa brought us face to face with the unsettling reality that danger sometimes wears a disguise, reminding us to stay vigilant even in the midst of holiday celebrations. Meanwhile, the red-capped elf on the shelf spun a tale where the innocence of childhood courageously faced the shadows, safeguarded by a tiny guardian. It reminds us that even in the most unexpected moments, courage and protection can arrive from the unlikeliest of sources. As we bid adieu to these tales, let them serve as a subtle warning to remain cautious amidst the joyous season. Cherish the magic of Christmas, but never forget to stay watchful and subscribe to Black Scary Stories. This is your host, Old Nicholas Black, signing off with wishes for a safe and truly magical holiday season.